Donald Trump has hailed the unmatched achievement and unlimited potential of the U.S. in a triumphalist address marking the country's 250th anniversary. In a late-night campaign-style speech in Washington, D.C. on Saturday, the U.S. president claimed his country was just getting started as he vowed to take it to new levels. Celebrations have been marred by extreme weather, including a dangerous heat wave in recent days and a passing storm that delayed Trump's speech. An apparent white nationalist march through the streets of Washington also caused alarm. When he finally appeared at 11:15 p.m., the president reached for a string of his favored topics, from promising a new golden age of America to repeating unfounded allegations of election fraud by his political opponents. "America is a nation of winners," Trump declared. "Today, our country is winning again." He spoke before a vast fireworks display, billed by organizers as the largest in world history to mark the occasion. An extreme heat wave across the U.S. East Coast upended some of the weekend's long-planned celebrations. Saturday's Independence Day parade through the nation's capital was abruptly canceled. A day after a parade was also canceled in Philadelphia, where the country's Declaration of Independence from Britain was signed in 1776. Trump's second inauguration ceremony in January 2025 was the first to be staged indoors since 1985. As a wave, Arctic air sent temperatures tumbling to frigid levels. On Saturday, as he prepared to address the U.S. semi-quincentennial festivities in Washington, they rose above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 37.8 degrees Celsius, in Washington amid sweltering conditions. As of 8 p.m., emergency services in Washington had treated 51 people with heat-related issues, with 12 taken to nearby hospitals, according to the D.C. Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency. But the weather started to turn after the first spectators filed into the site, and they were forced to evacuate for more than 2 hours because of fears of a thunderstorm. Rain and lightning followed. "Storms bring luck to whatever the occasion," Trump wrote on social media, as thousands reluctantly traipsed through the exits, promising to wait it out. He introduced a number of military veterans and the crew of the historic Artemis II lunar flyby mission, as he rattled through select moments of U.S. history. "The country is the hope, the promise, the light and the glory of the world," Trump claimed. He has repeatedly torn apart convention during the anniversary celebrations, during which a U.S. president would typically be expected to rise above the political fray and attempt to strike a chord with citizens of all persuasions. His living predecessors were notably absent at the main events in Washington. On Friday evening, in a speech delivered beneath the faces of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln carved into Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, Trump launched an extraordinary attack on what he termed the communist menace in America, framing its supporters as the enemy of July 4, 1776. He has increasingly sought to cast progressive Democrats as communists who pose an existential threat to the U.S., and continued to attack communism as he addressed the crowds on Saturday, saying that it would never be allowed to rear its ugly head in the country. "We don't want communists in our country," the president said. "It never worked, and it never will work." Trump's allies have been accused of using the anniversary celebrations to stoke, rather than heal, the country's divisions, and turning an historically nonpartisan moment of patriotism into a political vehicle for propaganda. A high-security perimeter was installed around the site of Trump's speech, in the shadow of the Washington Monument. Thousands of National Guard's troops have been stationed throughout the city after an increase in recent weeks. Behind the stage, just out of sight, lay the reflecting pool. The president ordered a $14.7 million renovation to turn the site American flag blue in time for the country's 250th birthday celebrations, an effort thwarted by a vast algae bloom that turned it green. The president, who has previously fretted about the size of crowds he has drawn to the National Mall, had urged Americans to come out and watch what he promised would be the greatest show of all on Saturday night. "Your favorite president will be speaking, so please show up," Trump said at the launch of the Great American State Fair in late June. Were that not enough, he claimed the ensuing fireworks display would be 10 times larger than any ever done on U.S. soil. Having sought to highlight examples of American perseverance and strength over the past 2.5 centuries, Trump pointed to Saturday's weather. "You heard it was over," he told the crowd. "And what happened? You came back.